My name is Nate Boley, and 20 years ago, strength training changed the course of my life. I built a gym here in Bend, Oregon from scratch that's helped over 1,500 people change their lives as well through strength training. If you want to change your life, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com, hit the Start My Journey button, and let's chat. All right, guys, we'll see you there. Hey guys, welcome back to the Go Heavier, Go Home podcast. I'm your host, Nate Boley. On Instagram, I am coach_Sensei1. I would love to have you guys follow me because I post a lot more content about lifting, strength training, mindset, all the different stuff, and I'd love to have you guys follow me. So go ahead and search me up on Instagram and give me a follow. But anyway, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we've got a really awesome podcast teed up for you. It's a two-part cycle. One, we're going to be talking about breaking the start-stop cycle. And the other one, we're going to talk about yoga and Pilates and how that can complement your fitness journey, but shouldn't be the only thing you're doing in fitness, right? So I'm going to share with you guys a little story that I've had about starting and stopping, right? So I've been consistently strength training now for 21 and a half years, over half of my current life, and I've only stopped and started a couple times. Now, I've watched multiple people in my life, my family members, even my spouse, but for specific reasons that I won't get into today. But there are times where you might need to adjust what you're doing, but there's really never any reason for you to completely stop your fitness journey, right? Especially strength training. Now, there are specific things like if you've had a stroke or a heart attack or blood pressure problems, mainly cardiac issues, that you shouldn't be strength training. But I'm going to go against the grain here and say that you still should be moving your body and maybe not necessarily lifting weights, but you should still be doing the same thing. So for an example, if you've got high blood pressure, a heart attack, or had a stroke, yeah, you shouldn't be loading a bunch of weight on your back and squatting down, spiking your blood pressure, because that's not good for the artery walls that have been damaged, the heart that has been damaged, or any type of stuff like that. And of course, I'm not a doctor, so don't take my advice as the end-all be-all. Please chat with your doctors about this. But if you can run, if you can do cardio, if you can get your heart rate up, you can also do lifting, just not in a capacity that's going to be putting excess strain via blood pressure on your artery walls and your heart walls. So again, check with your doctor, but I've been through this a couple times now. I've seen other people. I've been researching about it. You can still do a leg extension without any super heavy weight. You can still do a body weight squat. You still can do banded bicep curls, shoulders. You can still do this and that and this and that, other modified movements on a very limited basis after you've been cleared by your cardiologist and your cardiac team, ready to go. So Todd Tulsis, the guy who's editing this podcast at imagingvoice.com, him and I have gone rounds and rounds with this, and he knows my side of it, and he's back strength training with us. So welcome back, Todd. My personal story is I've had 2 knee surgeries. I've tore a quad. I've torn my supraspinatus tendon. I've had multiple SI joint issues, and I've also herniated 2 of my lower lumbar discs. I never stopped strength training through any of that, right? I just modified. Now, was I able to recently I just herniated my L5S1 and irritated my SI joint on my right side. Did I continue to push through that by just ripping and gripping 600 pounds off the ground or squatting through all the pain and just gritting and bearing? Absolutely not. That is the sure way to make sure that you're not going to move and you're going to be in a wheelchair later on. Look at Ronnie Coleman. as if you follow him at all, he was an ex-bodybuilder that just trained through everything, and now he was one of the biggest, strongest bodybuilders ever to exist. I would go out and bet that he would tell you today, or maybe he won't, but I'm going to tell you that I don't want that life. He's in a wheelchair now and can hardly walk, and that's not the way I want to live my years. And so there's a smart way to train, and there's a poor way to train. And in my opinion, Ronnie Coleman didn't train correctly, and he pushed through things that probably shouldn't have been pushed through, and it's given him the life that he has now. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I haven't pushed through things and hurt myself worse, because I have, but now that I'm a little bit older, 25, no, I'm kidding, I'm almost 40. I've learned a little bit. I've been doing this, like I said, for 21 and a half years. I've been through several injuries. I've pushed myself way past the breaking point multiple times. It's okay to do that sometimes, and there's also a time where, like, hey, I need to back off. I need to do just body weight movements. For the last 6 weeks, I didn't even squat or hinge at my hips, hardly at all. Just barely body weight stuff. I've been doing what I can. There's absolutely no reason for me to absolutely stop doing what I'm doing, and I had every reason to. There was one point where I couldn't barely walk around the house without supporting myself with one of my arms. I thought about using my crutches because my spine, my lower back hurt so bad, and she was shooting pains that I couldn't do it. But I could train around it and do everything else. I could do bench press. I couldn't do my normal bench press because I couldn't put my feet on the ground because the way that my arch of my spine was absolutely hurting my back. So I put a bench underneath the bench that I was in and put my legs straight up, and I bench pressed that way. I could do light cable flies because it didn't put any torque on my back. I could do seated arms, shoulders. I could do all sorts of things, right? I could do single leg, really light leg press. And so my point is, you can stop, but you're never going to come back the way you were, right? So if you stopped, when I hurt myself, I was deadlifting 630 pounds. There is not a chance in heck today, right now, I could deadlift that. Maybe if I wanted to hurt myself, I could hit 405, maybe 455, something like that. But I'm not going to risk it. But I'm still in there doing other things that I can do, because when I come back, my recovery is going to be that much better. So that is where I'm at. I've seen so many people come through our gym. We've had over 2,000 people come through our gym. And I know that's not a ton compared to like Planet Fitness or whatever. Those guys have like 10,000 members, but we're on a different level. Planet Fitness, sure, there's some people that go in there in big box gyms and they get their fitness on or whatever. We're much more of like hey, we're going to get you to your goals. We're going to sustainably keep those goals, and we're going to make sure you're doing it right. So I've seen over 2,000 people come through our gym as of now. Multiple of those people, they get the one tiny little twinge. They get the hiccup. They get the life thing thrown at them, and they throw the towel in. And then they go 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 years. I don't know. Most of the people that come and see us, they're like, hey, I'm 2, 3, 4 years out from doing anything. And it's just such a bummer because they have so much more potential, and they let one thing get in the way that they throw in the towel. So those are the main two topics I want to talk about. So I'm going to go right into it. So breaking the start-stop cycle, right? Acknowledging the excitement that comes with something new that you started, and then letting life get in the way. So often do I see somebody start 30, 60 days later, maybe not even that far. Oh, this happened. I'm going to miss a session. Okay, cool. No problem. Get back on it, the next week. The next week, oh, something else got in the way. Okay, hey, now we're starting to see the red flags. And as a new, client of any gym or new in the fitness journey, you should be looking at these things too. Oh, I missed this workout. No problem. How can I fix that next time? Instead, people just let things drive their lives when really we have control of our lives. And if you don't have control of your lives, that's okay. I understand that. I've got 2 daughters that need and a business and a wife and a life, and these all are pulling at my attention. You need to be very intentional, and that's what I've been doing with my family, and they've been doing the same thing with me. I need to have this time for me. How can we make this work? I don't care when it is, if it's noon, if it's 4 a.m., 7:30 p.m., 1 o'clock, I don't care what it is. You need to be very intentional with your health and your fitness in order to live your best life. And your family, if they care about you, they're going to help you figure out that. Now, what they're not going to do is help you use excuses to get out, like, hey, Megan and I had our what we call CEO time today. And that's basically times where we're sitting together intentionally looking at the business and how we can support it, make it better, and make it work better for us as a family, right? And so we got in that business meeting, and Megan, bless her heart, she's awesome. I love her so much. She works super hard at the gym. She got on her phone and started getting on social media. I said, no, turn off your phone. We have 1 hour. We're blocked off. We're working on the business right now. Now, the stuff we are doing isn't fun. It's not sexy. It's doing the hard grinding of the work so we can make a better life through our business, right? And you should do the same thing for whatever you're doing in life, whether that's your fitness or your business or whatever. You need to block off that time and make it non-negotiable. I don't care if a business meeting pops up. I don't care if your boss says you need to be here. And if he does, okay, I'll take that back. If you're a W-2 employee and you're like, hey, noon o'clock, I'm going to the gym, whatever, but your boss says, hey, I've got a meeting with you, don't do that. But the next day, get back on it, right? So some of us that have more flexibility of time, online workers, business owners, stuff like that, we have more flexibility. If you're a W-2 employee and the boss says you need to come in right now, make that happen. But again, you got to draw the line in the sand, being like, cool, you made me come in at 12 to do my blocked off time is 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock to work out. You made me come in. I need to take another time off to get that. Maybe I'm going to get off work a little bit early and go do that before I pick up my kiddos or whatnot. So that you have to be flexible and you have to be moldable to your schedule, right? You can't just be like, oh, sorry, my boss had me stay extra late today. I'm going to not go today. And then you get in your mind, oh, crap, well, tomorrow, I'm not supposed to work out tomorrow. I'm busy tomorrow. Pretty soon you're 3 weeks in. I see it all the time. And it's so frustrating and it's super sad. I get sad in my heart. I'm like, I know these people really, really want fitness. They've told me, they've sat in my office and they've told me they wanted their fitness and they wanted their health and they wanted these goals, but they're literally letting these tiny little sticks and pebbles trip them up. And it's because it's hard. It's not easy. I saw this meme the other day on Instagram and it said a fit, jacked person that's in shape in their 20s could mean many things, right? It could be passion. It could be discipline. It could be genetics. It could be the use of performance-enhancing drugs. But somebody who's fit and in shape and healthy and jacked in their 40s, there's only one thing, and it's discipline. It is absolutely discipline. You have to be disciplined, and you have to draw the line in the sand and take yourself in priority. And I sat in the office today with a lady who was saying, I'm a giver. I give everything to everybody else, but I never give anything back to myself. And that resonated with me. I have my mother's heart, and I'm the same. I used to be the same way. I used to give. I would work as much as possible. I would be completely smoked at the end of the day, barely have enough time and enough energy to get myself to the gym. But I drew a line in the sand and I said, no. I told myself, I can be a better help to everybody else, my community, my family, my job, everybody else, if I take care of myself first. I drew the line in the sand and I never went back. I never turned back. I will always prioritize myself and my fitness before everything else. Why? Because it's only 1 hour. It's only 1 hour. So get in there today and prioritize yourself. Make it happen. I don't care if you're on vacation. I don't care if you are injured. I don't care if your work is super busy. I hear this all the time. People cancel for the summer. They say, contact me September 1st. I contact them September 1st. Guess what happens? Oh, now I'm all slammed at work because I took 3 months off. Don't matter. Get back into the gym. Business professionals, I'm in front of business professionals all the time. 99% of business professionals do not prioritize their health and their fitness. And it just baffles me because they're going to be so much more productive and they're going to be able to help their clients and their families out so much more if they just prioritize themselves and their fitness and their health more than that. All right, we're going to jump onto another subject, and that is yoga and Pilates as complements to your fitness industry or to your fitness journey, not your only way of fitness. I get this all the time. Bend is a very, very, and I think the Pacific Northwest is a very, very yoga friendly and Pilates friendly thing. And I'm not going to tell you it's not hard. If I did a Pilates or a yoga class, which I've done today, I'd be sweating. I'd be huffing and puffing. I'd be working hard for it. But it is absolutely not the only thing you should be doing for your fitness. It's just not well-rounded enough, and it's not the progressive overload you need to gain the muscle mass, to gain the bone strength, and to gain the balance, stability, and the joint and tendon strength that you need. So I hear this all the time. People come in, well, hey, I need a strength training regimen that's cheap. Well, why do you need it to be cheap? Well, because I'm spending a lot of money on yoga. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Why are you here today? Well, because I'm not reaching the goals I want to get to. Okay, and so why not? Well, because yoga and Pilates aren't getting me to those goals. Okay, I understand you. Thank you for telling me that. Do you believe that a strength training regimen would get you to the goals that you want to get to? Oh, absolutely. Okay, so why won't you pay more for a strength training regimen that's going to get you to the goals that you want to get to over a yoga or Pilates regimen? Well, I just really love my yoga. Okay, that's great. I understand that. I like yoga and I like Pilates too. It helps me with my back. It helps me with my flexibility. It helps me with my mobility as well. We can get you to all those same goals for the same cost as yogas and Pilates, but you have to pick and choose. Which, do you like yoga and Pilates and you just like doing it, or do you want to reach your goals? And so I've had this conversation probably 2,000 times now in the course of all the consultations I've had at the gym. It's crazy to me that people will be like, I'll pay X amount of dollars for yoga or Pilates, but I'm not reaching my goals, but not want to pay that same amount for a strength training regimen, which they told me that they know they could get to their goals with. It just baffles my mind. But I don't understand why somebody would want to do just that. And maybe it's because they're a little bit afraid of like the weights and stuff like that, but you need to be a little bit well-rounded. So I don't just say, hey, only do strength training. No, absolutely not. I tell the people that are in our gym, hey, if you're doing strength training, you should do conditioning as well, which is what we offer. Or, hey, if you're doing yoga, great, come to see us for strength training and go do your yoga as well, or go do your Pilates as well. That's the best way to get to your goals, right? To do both. You're gonna get to your goals by the strength training because you want more muscle mass, you want more strength, you want better, stronger bones, you want stronger joints and stronger ligaments, and then you want to have fun with your friends at yoga and be free spirited and have all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think it's totally fine. But look at the way that you're getting to your goals and look at the way and what you really need and want in your life. And some people only want and need yoga. Fine. Totally fine. I'm not dogging on that. I think it's great. But when people come to me and say, hey, I need a cheap strength training regimen, well, why is strength training any less valuable than your yoga program, especially when you just told me that your yoga program isn't getting you to the goals that you want? Just think about what you said, look at it inside your mind and be like, and put it down on paper if you need to. What do I want? Where can I get those goals the best? And then make that decision, right? It's just a logical choice. But everybody needs, variation. And I do stretching, mobility, and some yoga. I'm not a super fan of Pilates because I can get the same result, actually even way better result by just doing strength training. So I am a fan of yoga. I think it's great. and I don't do it as much as I need to. But I would say if you are trying to, especially as aging adults, there's so much osteoporosis going on. We lose muscle mass so quickly after 30s and into our 40s and into our 50s. We lose balance. We lose stability. We start having pain, and yoga and Pilates just doesn't address those things. They just do not. I've seen the programs. I've gone through the programs. They just don't. They don't address it as a whole. And so I think to be a well-rounded person, especially in the Pacific Northwest, where most of our clients live, is we need to do strength training, real progressive overload strength training, which is what we provide at our gym, movement-friendly exercise, and then strength, mobility, yoga, and Pilates. So I think that there needs to be a balance of both. I would love to have strength or yoga and Pilates in our gym as well. It just doesn't serve the business in the facility that we have now. If we got a bigger facility and we had the right instructors, I'd love to jump into that market because I think that they pair well together. You could have a strength training, 30 minutes of strength training and 30 minutes of Pilates and yoga, and man, that would be money. But nobody's done it yet correctly. And we are the leaders in Central Oregon for strength training. People come to us all over the Pacific Northwest to receive strength training from us. And we've really been driving that home. And if you've looked at our Vivid Vision or listened to our Vivid Vision podcast, that is what we're driving towards. That's what our main goal is, to get people so strong in the gym that they can do whatever they want outside the gym. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. So reinforcing the idea of having a balanced program, right? Getting strength training, getting Pilates, yoga, getting mobility, getting your cardio, and stop stopping and starting. When something crazy happens in your life or something small, just, man, I swear, people just like, we have one of our members, her name's Chase, and she's awesome. She's had so many injuries and she's had a bunch of surgeries. And she just keeps showing up with crutches and with knee braces. And I've done the same thing. Like, I was literally benching the other day, well, actually like a couple years ago now, with my knee wrapped up because I had knee surgery. My leg was completely black and blue from tearing my quad. I'm still in there doing the best that I can. I've seen other people with spine injuries. They're receiving physical therapy from our physical therapist, Steve, which he's also been on our podcast. There's so many ways to just go about it, and you don't have to stop. And I just think it's a way that people just want the easy way out, and just don't be that person. Okay? If you could do anything for me today, just don't be that person. So with that being said, I think that you're more capable than you ever thought you were. So get out there today, take some action, and if you're feeling resistance by going to the gym, sign up for the class, make sure you make your personal training session, make sure you make your nutrition session, and just get there today. All right, guys, that is all. Hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us on the Go Heavy or Go Home podcast today. We hope you got a lot of value and had a ton of fun. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about what we do, or just have a ton of resources at your fingertips, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com and hit the Start My Journey button. All right, guys, until next time, go heavy or go home.